And that's just been popped into the chat by Kenneth as well. Thanks, Kenneth. So as I mentioned, we have a separate Masters Hall of Fame, and we're going to move on to that now. So I would like to introduce Doug Smith, the chair of the Athletics Ontario Masters Council, to present our 2021 Athletics Ontario Masters Hall of Fame inductee.
Thanks very much, Kate, and good evening, everyone. A wonderful ceremony so far. It's my distinct pleasure as the chair of the Masters Council to induct my friend Norm Creen into the Ontario Masters Hall of Fame. Norm started his career with the Masters as a sprinter. He was a very fine sprinter. I can recall him running some very fine 200s around the track at the Toronto Track and Field Centre. After a few years, injury hampered his performances, so he immediately switched to volunteering to be our starter's assistant at many Masters meets, and I have announced a million times, men and women in the 1500 meters, please see Norm with the clipboard at the start line, and Norm did a great job. The main reason he has been inducted into the Hall of Fame was he has served for 15 years as the Ontario Masters treasurer. Not a very exciting job, but one of the most important jobs, of course, and he is still the treasurer of the Masters Council. He was instrumental last spring of 2020, instrumental in our change from the Ontario Masters Athletics Association to the Athletics Ontario Masters Council. And that involved quite a bit of financial dealings, and Norm took care of that perfectly. So I have his, he's got his award there, you can see in the picture. I have his pin, which I'll present to him the first time I see him, and I'll present to you Mr. Norm Creen, new member of the Ontario Masters Hall of Fame.
Well, thanks, Doug. Thanks, everyone. Being named to the Ontario Masters Athletics Hall of Fame really took me by surprise, to the point where I had to ask Doug whether some dreadful mistake had been made. But being selected by my peers is a real honor. I deeply appreciate it. Many, many thanks to the Masters Council for the award. I discovered running when I was in high school. Like a lot of others, hopefully a lot of people who are listening this evening, but also like a bunch of others, I didn't do much running after university until I discovered Masters track and rediscovered my love of track running. Connecting with a number of athletes I had known as a teenager, Ray Tucker, Rona Trott, Carla Delgrand, among others, was really wonderful. It has been very rewarding to be able to contribute to Masters Athletics, other than as an athlete, as Doug mentioned. I quite enjoyed meeting all the athletes on the track as starter's assistant. I always knew who had entered, but I never got to see their results because I was always trying to get the next race on the track. When I started as OMA treasurer, I have to say, back in 2006, our financial situation was poor, and that's probably an optimistic assessment of the situation. But with Doug's work on revising the organizational structure, we made great progress forward. And that certainly made my job a whole lot easier. And just as a final word, I'd encourage all of the athletes listening to keep on in the sport. Athletics really can be the sport for a lifetime. And I would also encourage all of you to think about ways you can use your own background to help contribute back, and ways that you can use your expertise, your skills to help build the sport into the future. So let me just repeat how honored and humbled I am to be included in the OMA Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.